Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you the Baze AI recap from last weekend at UFC Vegas 51. Baze AI is the UFC prediction software from MMAPlay365. And as for the results, honestly, it was very hit and miss last weekend. It was a very strange event from just an overall results perspective. You know, Baze AI didn't do that great. I think it was one of the worst events that it's had even through our testing phase. And like I said, these events are going to happen from time to time. Even as a handicapper, you know, myself, I had a really bad weekend last weekend with both my bets and my predictions as well. So it was just one of those events, I think, but still there was things to take away from that event from the Baze AI perspective. And one thing that it had as well is it had a lot of the fights near enough a coin flip at near 50-50. And, you know, with those types of fights, it's the underdogs that Baze AI is saying that the value's there on. So you could see that as, the Baze AI isn't confident either way. But what Baze AI is doing is saying that the fights are very even and very close. So if there's a big underdog in that fight, that's where you need to be looking towards. So the first fight that I want to talk about is actually one of the 50-50 fights, and it was in the main event. Belal Muhammad versus Vicente Luque. Baze AI had Belal Muhammad at 50.79%. So a coin flip with a very, very slight lean towards Belal Muhammad, and 50.79%. Odds implied is minus 103, but you could have had Belal Muhammad for anywhere up to around plus 170, so there was plenty of value there. And listen, with the way the fight played out, you know, Baze AI was very, very accurate in saying that the line was too wide and it should be much closer. But also, Baze AI had Belal Muhammad to win via decision at 37%. Obviously, Belal Muhammad doesn't score too many finishes. So 37% odds implied, it was plus 170. So actually, you know, it was saying that the money line on the odds for Belal Muhammad to win straight should have been around the same as what it should have been for Belal Muhammad to win via decision. But actually, you could have got plus 275 or up to plus 275 on Belal Muhammad to win via decision. So again, there's plenty of value there from the money line to the method of victory, Belal Muhammad winning by decision. So I think Baze AI did a really good job with that main event last weekend. I think it had things really accurate and it knew that the fight should have been much closer. And again, it was one that it smashed me with, you know, I bet Vicente Luque. I thought it was a stylistically great fight for him. Baze AI smashed me. It's not the first time, it won't be the last time. And it's really frustrating as a handicapper as well. So look, well done to Baze AI with that main event with Belal Muhammad and Vicente Luque. The next fight that I want to talk about was actually the Baze AI underdog of the week, which was Jordan Leavitt. Now, Jordan Leavitt was 65% predicted by Baze AI, which I think is one of the highest that we've seen for an underdog. So odds implied on that, Baze AI was saying that Jordan Leavitt should have been a minus 186 favourite, but actually you could have got him at plus 125 or around plus 125, plus 130. You know, that's real good value from Baze AI, you know, saying 65%, minus 186 odds implied, and you're actually getting a plus money number on him on the betting line. Plenty of value there. And obviously the fight was a split decision, but I think it was a wrongful split decision. I think Jordan Leavitt definitely won that fight. I'm not sure how you could have argued Trey, Ogden winning that fight, but it is what it is. The right man won, and the Baze AI underdog of the week also won. And finally, Rafa Garcia versus Jesse Ronson. Garcia, Baze actually had Garcia at 49.92%. So it did have him losing the fight, but by the smallest of margins. It was almost a coin flip. That actually, odds implied, you're looking at around plus 100. And you could have got Garcia at close at plus 125. Now, Garcia was floating around plus 100 the majority of fight week, so there wasn't too much value in that. But once it started kicking out to plus 110, plus 115, plus 120, plus 125, there was obviously a lot of value there in what the Baze AI was saying that was going to be a very close fight. Baze AI was saying it was going to be a coin flip, so you're getting a good underdog plus money shot on Rafa Garcia, and that's where the value was at close. Now, you could take this a little bit further. Now, what was very interesting is Baze AI actually had Rafa Garcia winning via submission at 23% and decision at 23%. So it had the decision and submission at the same percentage. So if you actually thought that this fight was going to end and you did decide to go for a submission, then Rafa Garcia to win via submission at 23% odds implied is plus 335. The line you could have got is up to plus 900, which is insane value. So like I said, Baze AI did say that a decision was as probable as a submission, but if you're thinking an explosive fight and it's going to finish, and you did want to take that shot on Rafa Garcia at plus 900 for a prediction, which Bays AI said should have been plus 335, is crazy value. Again, another gem spot there. But again, I do say gem spot a little bit loosely because, how many people bet in submission there, I'm not too sure, but it was there to be had. And that's the final point from Bays AI. That's the final point from the Bays AI recap from UFC Vegas 52 last week. Hoping for a much better week this week and just an overall better predictions and better bets. Last week was a really tough one. They happen. It's part of the sport. It's the fight game. But we'll be back next week with another Bays AI recap from this week at UFC Vegas 52. I'm Newsome. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.